Hey guys, so we see a whole range of patients coming through SoleFit, all ranges of activity levels, from someone who's walking the dog every morning to a professional or an Olympic athlete. But we do, however, tend to get a lot of runners coming through. So we wanted to put this little video together to give people a brief overview of what we're looking at when we're talking about running efficiency. Now, it's such a good time to be a runner because there's so much information out there. But it's a very confusing time to be a runner for the exact same reason. So let's go through a few simple things. So the first one, which can seem rather obvious, but it's to realize that we're all very much an experiment of one. It's very difficult as a runner not to read through the newest running magazine and be tempted to change our mechanics right away because of something we read. But we almost have to take that step back and find out what our variables are and then work from there. So the second one to realize is that it's really not just about footwear. A minimalist shoe is best for someone who has efficient running technique. A more structured protective shoe is maybe better for someone who doesn't have that infrastructure working as well as they should. So really there's no one best shoe out there. It's really just finding the best shoe for you as the individual runner. So a question that we don't find is asked enough with respect to running efficiency and running biomechanics is, why are we not running right? Instead of trying to put our foot in a certain position or lift our hip or move our shoulders, we really want to be looking at why those problems are there in the first place. So which kind of leads us into our next point of it's really, really important to fix the source of the problem. If we're sitting all day and our hip flexors are very shortened and tightened, it's going to be really hard to go out and run with really good extended leg running efficiency. So we want to start by loosening up these areas from a good stretching protocol or seeing another allied healthcare practitioner to loosen things up. If a hip's dropping because there's a weakness on one side, let's strengthen up the area to keep those hips nice and level. So fix the source. So another one that can seem rather obvious, but is that a healthier body means a more efficient runner. So like we talked about previously, for a runner to go in and get things loosened up with a general massage or to spend a little bit more time on a good general strengthening or mobility protocol, they're a better runner regardless of doing any specific technique work just by having that infrastructure set up a little bit better. So for those who've maybe already worked on some of those infrastructure pieces like mobility and strengthening, using tools like small amounts of barefoot running or cadence work can really help to improve our mechanics. And the benefit of using those tools is that it takes it out of our conscious control. So instead of trying to be focusing on putting our foot here or our foot here 800 to 1,000 steps per mile, by doing 30 seconds barefoot running, it forces you to run a little bit more efficiently. By setting a metronome at 180 steps per minute and following that for 30 seconds to a minute, again, forces some positive changes. So finally, it's important to know that it's okay not to change our mechanics sometimes. Now, if we're leading up to a big race, if we're really busy and we just want to get those couple runs in a week, sometimes that's not the best time to make changes. So like we talked about earlier, it's always a good time to work on our infrastructure, to work on loosening things up, to work on strengthening, and then maybe finding time in the off season or finding time when you're not training as much to make more serious changes to your running biomechanics. Thanks so much for listening, guys. As always, if you have any questions or comments, we'd love to hear back from you.